Well, welcome back again to another video, and hello to everyone. I hope you're having a good summer and keeping well and safe. It's a long time since I've done a little bit of an update on my Volt Pulse e-bikes and my thoughts and views on those, and this is going to start with a little bit of a rant on about some views I've got on e-bikes and some of the difficulties that I can see and what I don't like about them. I know I've sung Volt's praises, and there again I have no connection with Volt whatsoever. I have paid full money for both these bikes, and I have no connection with that company whatsoever. It's just that you know, I chose a Volt and I've ridden them now for 6 years. So without further ado, as I say, this is a little video, an update on the Volt bikes and a bit of a rant about batteries and spare parts. The government announced that they wanted to cut the price of e-bikes. Now, I've searched online all over the place and I can't find any hard and fast written details of how this is going to take place. The idea is, I believe they want to try and somehow bring a subsidy in and knock a third off the price of an e-bike. So the likes of the Volt bikes like I've got, I think the Volt Pulse with the basic the lower amp hour battery, I think is about 1690 something off the top of my head, a figure like that. So you'd probably looking round about, you know, £600 off that to bring it just over £1,000, which obviously, you know, that's great if that does happen. You know, I wait with anticipation to see more facts develop what is going to happen. But there's been some great comments and some great questions asked, you know, be it good or bad, I don't mind, on all my videos, re my Volt Pulse bikes that I put on YouTube, and there's been many questions raised. And I hope, you know, in the comments I've managed sometimes to answer those. I don't know everything about e-bikes. I have ridden them now for the last 20 years, since 1999. And have, you know, very much closely watched the development of the better batteries come in and where we are at this point now. But I have still got some great concerns. I know I sing the praises of the Volt bikes, and I can't fault the build quality of those two bikes. One is now coming up. We will have a closer look, you know, at the end of this video. I'll show you what I've been doing, and one is now coming up in a month's time. It was 6 years old, which is amazing. So I'm certainly not going to knock the build quality, because they are in my view, a very well put together bike. My biggest, if you like, what's the right word here to use? My biggest thing that I find, my biggest, you know, disappointment, if you like, is the fact that I was looking again the last few months. I know my oldest Pulse, that's 6 years old, it is eventually going to need a replacement battery. You know, it is, you know, you can't do as many miles on it, although it still holds a charge and it still charges up okay. You haven't got the distance like you used to have. And I was looking online to buy the self-same, that has got the big amp hour battery on it, the biggest one you could buy, and to buy that online, just the battery, is £599. I don't know whether that includes delivery, because in any case, the other excuse me, the other thing at the moment in time, they aren't even available to buy. There's going to be a few more in towards the middle of August, and when I did contact Volt, via email and asked them that was the price and why didn't they have them in stock. Apparently these batteries have been in short supply this year with the worldwide situation, I assume, and if I wanted one, it may be better if I were to reserve one, and when they would come in, I would definitely have my name on one, but I didn't do that. I'm not that, you know, keen at the moment. I'm still looking into all this. But I think that is quite ridiculous, to think a bike. I think that bike, when I bought that bike new, it was even with the bigger amp hour battery, it was just under £1,600. So I'm now going to have to pay a third of the price of the bike to replace the battery. I just think this is absolutely crazy, and I think this is perhaps where the government need to step in, or the bike manufacturers need to step in, and we need a better subsidy or a better situation on this replacement battery system, because there again, I was told by somebody I knew who had purchased a second-hand Volt bike and went on to inquire about buying a new battery for this bike, that somebody at Volt said, oh well, rather than do that, I would buy a new bike. Now, how ridiculous is that in this supposedly environment of today, when we're all trying to be as green as we can and not throw away and keep things going as long as possible, when you've got a fully functioning, safe bike. The only difficulty is you need a new battery for it, and yet they're telling you, well, don't do that, that's ridiculous, you hard best buy a new bike. This to me is just absolutely madness, and I certainly think bike manufacturers and the government, probably worldwide, I don't, perhaps you can tell me what this, if other people see this in other countries, is this the same, you know, in the States, in Europe? Do you have to pay these vast sums of money to replace the battery, which to me seems absolutely crazy, and I think this has got to change, and something has got to be done to bring these replacement lithium batteries cheaper. And you know, so then you ask me, well, what do I think's a fair price? Well, that's, you know, I suppose like the old English saying, how long is a piece of string? You know, I would think, you know, 200 to 250 would be a fair price for a replacement battery, and maybe certainly for the first replacement battery you need, whether that is, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line, must be subsidised, and you must be, you know, made obviously at all costs to keep that bike going just with a new battery, rather than these bikes just being parked in sheds, garages, when the battery no longer functions to any degree, and people just forget about them. I think that's so sad, and or people sell them, you know, and then it's somebody else's problem. So I think that is the biggest issue that I see at the moment in time, this price of, you know, the batteries, replacement batteries, and the availability at the moment. It seems that, you know, you cannot, you know, I suppose you could have, I've looked at other sites where theoretically I could send my current battery away and have that rebuilt, but on one site I found that was going to cost £690, which was more than the Volt purpose-built battery. So that was a non-starter in my view. Now, the other thing that has come up, several people asked, well, what about spares for these bikes? You know, buying, if something breaks on it, you know, you want new parts for it. So yes, I looked on their website under the accessory page where supposedly any spare parts would be, and the only spare spare part that I could see was a freewheel set, which basically you could buy in any bike shop. I bought one and had fitted to my oldest Volt Pulse, which certainly didn't come from Volt. There again, this is absolutely crazy. The fact, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that these e-bike manufacturers seem to have the monopoly. If something goes wrong, you have to basically ring them up and say, look, so and so and so and so has gone, you know, and they'll say, oh right, yeah, you need a new so and so and so and so, and they'll sell it you at their price. I don't know whether that's right or wrong. You know, I don't necessarily perhaps blame companies for doing that. It would be difficult to get a dealer network set up for this, probably for the small amount of bikes that they're selling. With the internet these days and a website, why on earth can't you make a really jolly good spares for sale site and list every part for the Volt bikes, or for any other manufacturer bikes, that is, and, you know, clearly put the price and the postage price, and, you know, if you're relying on these bikes to commute for work, which a lot of people do, you want some sort of, you know, you don't want the bike off the road, you know, a week or 2 weeks waiting for some part to come from Hong Kong or China. You know, you want the part delivered the sort of next day or the day after. And I mean, here I have 2 parts which certainly aren't listed on their website. This is a Volt controller. I'll show you where that goes on the bike. Very easy to fit. If you got an error code come on your little display, like an error code 22, and you phone Volt up, they'd say, oh yeah, you need a new controller. But if they had it on the website, you know, and you could just go and buy one. But no, there's nothing listed on their website. And likewise, this is a Volt Pulse new cable, which is colour coded. I don't know whether you'll see that. It's colour coded ends. They just push in, and this is a new mains cable. And often, you know, you often snag cables or wires break. There again, why isn't parts like that, you know, listed with a price and a postage price listed on the website? And I mean, yeah, they could do it properly. They could put, you know, they could have the monopoly. They could put the tyres, they could put the brake disc pads on there, and they could have a really super duper shop, you know. But I don't know why. I don't know why these bike manufacturers, they don't seem interested in doing that. And to me, that is crazy. I know Powerbike. I've had over the years. I've had 1 or 2 power bikes, and they used to have a very reasonable online website shop that you could buy. I was always breaking the twist grip throttles on those power bikes, but I could just order one online and it just plugged in, job done. And I'm not going to say it was that cheap. I think they were about £19 they were, but it got me going again quickly. You know, they'd dispatch it the very nearly the same day. So why can't manufacturers like Volt, you know, put us a really good parts website online? I have to say, I've only had to phone, I mean, my Volt Pulses have been so, in fairness to Volt, they've been so reliable, so I've not needed to buy anything, and perhaps that's their thinking, which is very nice in an ideal world. But then I've spoken to other people that have had loads of trouble with these bikes. You know, people have got through, early Volts got through these controllers like nobody's business apparently sometimes. So I've spoken to Volt a few times on the telephone, and you know, I must be honest, you know, I thought I was treated like a 5 or 6 year old that had never had a bike before. I've ridden bikes since I was that age, 6 years old. I've taken bikes to bits, I put bikes together again, and I've done everything you can imagine. I've still got my Dawes Super Galaxy touring bike, my Dawes Carrium touring bike. I'll probably bring those out and do a video one day about those. I've rebuilt bikes. Okay, these are ordinary just push bikes, I know, but the people at Volt, don't seem to, it was a very negative response I got the times I phoned up, and I didn't like that. We are the customers, and it seemed to me that it didn't really matter. All they wanted to do was basically sell you a new bike, and that was it. Once the bike was dispatched and you'd got it, well, bye-bye sort of thing, And anything I asked was questioned. Was I sure? Or did it all do? It's like the third degree in inquiry, Perhaps that's changed because it's a long time since I've phoned Volt. I hope it has, because that to me was not a good situation, and I didn't like that, I certainly think there is so much room that these companies have got for improvement in doing this, as I particularly with this issue of the price of the replacement batteries. I just think it's absolutely crazy, that you're charging somebody so much, to replace a battery. But like I say, that's my view. And I suppose you can, you take it or leave it, basically. But there again, I was pleased to read that Volt have opened a factory in Milton Keynes, which is quite close to where I live, and that's a very positive. I wish them every success with that, because it's nice that they have got a UK plant or factory now, and I say that is in Milton Keynes. But I think we do need a situation where we're not just promoting the sale of new bikes. Us existing owners need the backup and service at reasonable prices. That's how I feel about this anyway. But so that's my little rant today about the situation, and I don't know what it's like. If you own a different make of e-bike, perhaps you're better served. Perhaps you've got websites with all the parts. Perhaps your batteries are cheaper. Perhaps you can buy one of these cheap eBay batteries from China that I've seen them as low as sort of $250. I don't know what they're like, how long they take to come, but I'd be interested to get your take and your thoughts on this. And I certainly think, as I say, there is great room for improvement for us present e-bike owners, and we really do need some sort of subsidy on this issue of these replacement batteries. So there we go. We'll move on now. That's my little rant over for today. This part here, which is a controller for one of these Volt Pulse range, that simply fits in. Can you see? There's a screwed panel there, which you take those screws off there, and then that controller slots in there, just above the battery. I do think the design flaw, on one of these bikes has been pointed out, and there again I agree with everybody that said this, and this hasn't, I looking to probably change this or do something with it. These plastic brackets that hold the mudguard on the front, they are very cheap and nasty. Whoever designed that, I had them, strangely enough, I'm not going to just blame Volt on this, because I had an Easy Forza, a lovely bike, very solid built, heavy bike that was, before the Volt Pulse, And that had just the same sort of silly plastic brackets there, and they did break on the Forza, and I had to sort something out myself to repair them. Well, I think one in Venice is still taped up. I still have the Easy Forza, and I am at some point going to do a little review on that and show you it in more detail. I did show you it in a video some time ago. So that had this silly system, but I mean, you know, why, if you want to put a bracket on this like this, why not make it in some sort of metal rather than plastic? You know, I find sometimes on this, if my leg catches the mudguard or it catches up against something, it moves this whole mudguard and it can then chafe on the tyre, which is absolutely crazy. You know, for the sake of a bit of forethought and better planning. In fact, there was one comment, and sorry, I can't remember your name, old age, where a guy commented and he said that he'd taken his Volt Pulse to Halfords. I don't think hopefully not to have, I don't think it was having any work done on it, but and a bloke, one of the Halfords sales staff came out and said, "Oh my," he said, "I can see you didn't buy that bike at Halfords." So the guy said, "Well, why?" He said, "Well, I can see it's too well built." Rest my case, basically. You know, they are proved the test of time with that one over there being now 6 years old, and perhaps if I come, and then you can, perhaps if we see there. So as I say, because it probably only looks, you know, when I think of some of the e-bikes I've had, you know, I had one which I won't mention because I'm not here to, you know, run companies down, but I had one that after 18 months a major weld broke, and yes, unbelievable, and that basically the frame broke, and I hadn't ridden it hard. It had you know, been used a lot, but not ridden on hard. It had only been used on cycle paths and on roads, and nobody was prepared to fix that, and quite rightly, because when a frame's gone, really, it could be a danger to not only to me but to other road users. So as I say, apart from the bit of the wear on the sticker there, you can see, which is just peeled off where I've chained it up against things, they are really so good. In such good condition still. So there we go. I'm now going to check the tyre pressures and just lubricate little odd bits on them, because particularly the Volt Pulse X here hasn't been used a lot recently, so I'm just going to check that over. You know, I like to do it once a month, and that's it really. But please do keep the comments coming, and if you have any ideas or thoughts on what I've said about replacement batteries, subsidising e-bikes, you know, a parts shop, you know, maybe this is, you know, an area that we should be, you know, campaigning on and putting these ideas to Volt. I don't think I've sometimes posted my videos on the Volt Facebook blog, but I don't think they really like that, and there again I think they think, you know, I'm often being a bit of a nuisance. I've always got that feeling with Volt. Anybody I speak to there, you know, they don't, you know, really want to be bothered, or perhaps that's just me, perhaps, you know, I've just struck lucky with who I've struck unlucky, I should say, with who I've spoken to there. But perhaps we should be bringing pressure on, you know, the powers that be to certainly get the price of these replacement batteries down, and a better network of parts. You know, yeah, if you've got any thoughts, comments or ideas, you know, or agree with me or don't agree with me, or think I'm talking a load of rubbish as usual, well, that's fine, you know, but please do, as always, subscribe, comment, like, not like, you know, but as I say, I'm passionate about cycling, and I'm passionate about these e-bikes because I think, you know, they are such a valuable way to carry on cycling as you get that little bit older, as you know, as you want that little, you know, I live in quite a hilly area, and for me it's brilliant. You know, I like to use it as a normal bike more often than not. But then it's great to have that little bit of extra boost there to get up the hills, or if you're in a headwind. And likewise, obviously, it means I can carry on cycling, hopefully, you know, until you know, I you know, have to give up for other reasons, you know, for whatever that might be. You know, I'd hoped I could carry on cycling another 20 or 30 years if I live that long. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and I've gone on far too long again. I shall have to edit this video down a lot, I think. But thanks for watching. Please do subscribe, and we'll see you again in a future video very soon. Bye for now.